Hey friends, CJ here with Prodigy Creations. Today we're going to be looking at a super awesome and super talented mixing engineer. This guy goes by the name of Andrew Scheps, and if you don't know about him, he is a 3-time Grammy award-winning mixing engineer who has worked on so many iconic albums, but just to name a few, we've got Stadium Arcadium by Red Hot Chili Peppers, we've also got 21 by Adele, and we've got Death Magnetic by Metallica. So this guy's been in the game for a long time and definitely knows what he's talking about. I just wanted to make this video to kind of highlight some lessons that we can learn from this guy. So just a little bit of background info on Andrew Scheps. After graduating with a recording degree from the University of Miami, he worked as a field service tech with a company called New England Digital, who crafted the synclavier synthesizer. Scheps took this path instead of the traditional path of being an apprentice for a studio, and he's quoted as saying, "That job actually paid money, whereas working in the studio as an apprentice, it doesn't pay money. So I took the gig that paid money and figured I'd learn something." And this actually ended up giving him some opportunities to be in the studio with big names like Michael Jackson and Sting, because part of this job was being sent to repair the faulty gear, and it was an expensive piece of gear, so only the high-end studios had it really. So he got to meet really big names through this and make really good connections. And through these connections, fate would eventually allow him to do what he really wanted to do, which was to record and mix records. His first official record after stepping down from that job was working on Michael Jackson's History. So it definitely paid off, and he currently runs his own studio called Punkerpad West, and he even has his own record label called Tonequake. So absolute legend in the music industry, and we're going to learn some stuff from this guy today. So lesson number 1 from Andrew Scheps is learning about audio engineering online is legitimate. And here's what he has to say. The resources available now are just incredible. There are a lot of people who are very nostalgic for the old model, where you could just be in a room and learn from an engineer because there were 1,000 studios in every city and you could be an assistant and work with the different engineers and producers and learn. But at the same time, now there are millions of videos online, and a lot of them good, and a lot of them are very specific. How to listen to compression, and you get to hear a single source. I think he is 100% on the money with this, guys. The day and age we are living in, it has never been easier to learn how to do anything, and that includes mixing, recording music, whatever you want to do with music, you can learn through YouTube videos, through online courses. You know, we are living in a technological boom era where anything is possible, where you can be anything you want to be, where you can learn anything you want to learn, all through the convenience of our computers, our phones, our tablets. You know, like technology is everywhere. And I think it's important that we should try to be careful with how we're utilizing technology, because it can be very easy, as we all know, to get caught up in binge watching Netflix or Hulu or online gaming. And those things are awesome. Don't get me wrong, I'd do those things too, but I think it's important that we put a limit on those things because, you know, from Scheps himself, you know, he thinks that learning about audio engineering online is legit. And it is, because all of the lessons I'm giving you today from Andrew Scheps, I learned through online videos. I went through a few different ones just taking notes and learning from him. And there are so many other audio engineers that do this too, you know, because of platforms like Waves and Mix with the Masters, obviously YouTube that has all of these places. Not only is Andrew Scheps doing these videos, there's other legends like Chris Lord Alge, his brother Tom Lord Alge, Andy Wallace, the list goes on and on, Butch Vig. There are so many engineers, record producers, so many of them are going to this platform of teaching online. And it's just amazing how many resources are available at our fingertips, you know? So even if we'll never be able to be an official apprentice with a studio, it doesn't really matter, because we can do that on our own time. In our own home, on our own computers or tablets, whatever you want to use. You could still technically be an apprentice and learn from the legends of music like Andrew Scheps. So yeah, learning about audio engineering, recording, music production online is legitimate, so take advantage of it. Second lesson from Andrew Scheps is mixing in the box is just as good as mixing with a console. And if you're not familiar with the term, in the box simply means on the computer. And here's what Andrew Scheps has to say. For years, I mixed on a large format console with a ton of outboard gear. But lately, I've been mixing 100% in the box. So plugins are my workflow at this point. Obviously for recording you need gear, but for mixing it just doesn't make sense anymore, for a million reasons. And he also said the only thing that matters is what comes out of the speakers, and nobody who buys the record is gonna know or care what it was mixed on. It absolutely does not matter. They will care if the song is great and they feel excited. All the tools I need are in my computer. So there you go, directly from the horse's mouth, Andrew Scheps, who again has worked on so many iconic and legendary albums. He himself is mixing 100% on his computer. So there should be no reason and no excuse for us as regular people on why we should feel inferior because we're mixing on a computer. No, like it doesn't even matter what DAW you use, because I'm an Ableton user, but the quote-unquote industry standard is Pro Tools if you want to really make a record and really mix a record, but even that is just not true. Whatever DAW you use, be it Ableton, FL Studio, Pro Tools, it doesn't matter. All of these digital studios essentially allow us to do the same thing. A DAW is a powerful tool because not only is it a mixing tool, but it's a studio in your computer. It comes with so many virtual instruments, virtual effects. Like whenever you decide to buy a DAW or a digital audio workstation, that's what it stands for. Whenever you decide to buy one, you can make a record completely and totally on that piece of software. You don't need anything else. Maybe an audio interface if you're going to record vocals. But like I said before, we're living in an amazing time where, because of technology evolving and growing every day, we are in a position where we can just do whatever we want. We can learn whatever we want, do whatever we want. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it really is true. If you just take time to appreciate what all we're capable of doing with technology, just as regular Joes, it's amazing. So don't be discouraged if you don't have a console. I don't have a console. Maybe someday I would love to. But again, mixing on your computer is just as useful. So don't feel inferior. The third lesson from Andrew Scheps is to use parallel compression to your advantage. And I'm actually going to go into my DAW and show you what parallel compression is if you're not familiar with it. This is a technique that Scheps is very well known for. He's often considered the master of parallel compression. So let's hop into my DAW and I'll show you what that means. So here we are in Ableton. I've just got a simple drum loop pulled up here. I'll give you a listen to it real quick. Simple drum loop. So obviously if I wanted to compress my drums, I could easily just drag a compressor onto the actual channel and compress it that way. But here's the beauty of parallel compression. It allows you to have your original drum sound, or whatever it is you use parallel compression on. It allows you to have that original audio source completely untouched, as well as having a separate channel with the drums in this instance. And on this separate channel, I'm completely crushing the drums with compression. And that way I'm able to blend those two sounds together so that it has the best of both worlds. It has all of the dynamics of the original one, but it also brings in just the aggression of the super compressed drums, and when I blend them together it sounds really nice. So how I did this in Ableton is I used my sent it all the way into A, and on A I put on a compressor. In this instance I used the Quigchild from Waves, but you can literally use any compressor you want, it doesn't matter. If you want to check this plugin out though, I will definitely make sure to leave a link in the description. I did some heavy compression on the drums on this channel, and I'm going to solo it, and we're going to listen to it by itself. Compare it to the original one. So you can see I compressed the crap out of it. And you might think that's a little bit too extreme, like that's too much compression, but that's what the beauty of parallel compression is that you can go crazy compression, because it's not the only source. Again, parallel compression, the beauty of it is that we're keeping the original audio source untouched, and we're just blending it in with the super compressed source. So I'm going to slowly bring this fader up, and you'll start to see what I mean. So let's mix in this this drum sound with parallel compression. Here's the benefit of it. Here we go. There you have it. That's the beauty of parallel compression. It doesn't have to be on drums. It can literally be anything you want to. I think Andrew Scheps said he used this method in one of the Adele records he mixed. He used it on her vocals. He would slowly bring up that fader when he really wanted her vocals to pop. So yeah, use parallel compression to your advantage because it is an awesome technique. Different shirt, different day, but same video, so let's keep it rolling. The fourth piece of advice that we have from Andrew Scheps is taking mix breaks is crucial. And he says, you cannot sit and mix a song for 12 hours. It is impossible. You're going to have lots of time where you're either doing stuff you're going to want to undo, or you're not doing anything. I think this is true. I think ear fatigue is definitely a thing. Like Scheps is saying, if you sit and listen to one song for 12 hours or even just an hour really, your ears are just going to get so used to hearing things, and it's just going to, the more you hear a song, the more you're familiar with it, and you keep wanting to change things. It's a weird psychological thing going on when you literally just sit down too long to mix a song. I remember I used to do this, and when I heard about people like Scheps saying this to take mix breaks, I gave it a shot. I started, in fact, timing myself when I mix on projects. I'll give myself a 30-minute timer, and then after that timer goes off, I'll just take a time to reset. Even if it's just 5 minutes, just having that time to reset your ears where nothing's coming in, it gives you fresh perspective. Because when you go back to listen to it again, you're listening to it with different ears, so to say. So taking mix breaks is crucial. And the fifth and final piece of advice that we have from Andrew Scheps today is to keep it simple. And he's quoted as saying, "It's about getting the balance in the pan and not doing too much. Do as little as possible, and then only do stuff that you hear that's a problem. Only solve problems that are actually problems. Don't go into a mix assuming everything is a problem and has to be solved." So with that piece of advice, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to keep it simple and let Andrew Scheps' words speak for themselves. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to recording music or music production or anything like that, I want to let you know that if you visit my website, prodigycreationsnow.com, I have a free gift for you waiting there. It is a free ebook called The Simple Guide to Recording Music Now in 5 Steps or Less. All you got to do is enter in your email address. It'll send you an ebook into your email right away. And it's just a nice, simple little guide that shows you all the essential things you're going to need in order to start recording music. So that's my free gift to you if you're interested in checking that out today. But other than that, guys, this is CJ from Prodigy Creations. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. The fourth piece... don't know why I keep saying that. Fourth Peath.